Hey, it's Paul Seaver from Palm Beach Springs Water Company, of course, because you're on my channel. Welcome to my new video series, Electrolyzing Water. So I started this new series, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a variety of ways that you electrolyze water, what it's for, what it does, why you even bother doing it, what's the advantages, and what's the difference in different types of units. You know, most people know this subject by two different areas. First area is under the sink, or not necessarily under the sink, I'm sorry, all mine are under the sink. Residential ionized alkaline water with hydrogen, such like Kagans and Jupiters, and I don't know, there's a slew of these things on the market. The most widely known one is the Kagan, because they have hands down the best marketing plan on the face of the earth for ionizers. Nobody can take that away from them. They sell more of them than anybody on earth. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best. I'm not going to knock them. I'm not going to poo-poo on them. It's not my thing. That's not what I do for a living. So I'm just stating the fact. The fact is they sell more than anybody else. So, but they have a single polarity membrane separation, which, you know, the unit's actually designed for making hydrogen water for consumption. So there's a whole bunch of those units on the market. And so that's considered general electrochemistry, that's single polarity. So that's why there's a whole bunch of them on the market. Anybody can make one that wants to, okay? You can't patent it. So anyway, what I do is I do advanced electrochemistry. Oh, so the other thing that most people know in single polarity is stuff like your saltwater chlorinators for your swimming pool, and people who make hypochlorous acid. That's a single polarity unit, but the opposite, that's on the acidic side. So you're making chlorine gas rather than hydrogen gas. So because those units are single polarity, you have to pick which you're making. Do you want to make reactive oxygen or do you want to make hydrogen? So putting that aside, what I do is I'm a research and development company, and what I do is I provide alternatives to people for whatever it is that they're doing now in electrochemistry, but using high amp dual polarity electrochemistry. This stuff even gets confusing to me, and I do it for a living. So high amp dual polarity is we're able to apply a lot more power, and we apply it in a way where we're using both sides at the same time. So we're using oxidation and reduction, which is the hydrogen, and the oxidation is the ROS. So we're using them both together in combination. We're either splitting them perfectly or we're recombining them, but we have total control over them because we have total control over the polarity, which is directing them. So that gets a little far deep into it. So with that ability, we can make consumable stuff, we can manufacture things, we can do water treatment, we can make sanitizers, we can make cleaners. Anything that you want to do with water, we can do because we're working with the full scope of the water. So anyway, that's what we do. And a lot of people know I sell a little system for residential also. It's called the Esprit H2O ES2000 for home use. And I make a RO system and a filtration system that goes with it, depending on what you want to do. Some people have a whole house RO, so why put in another RO? So in that case, they just get a filtration system to filter some stuff coming in and filter, most importantly, going back out again. And so what we want to do is we want to use double coconut carbon, and that has to do with removing chemicals. We're not going to get into that subject on this video. But if you don't have RO, then we suggest this one. I custom build it just for this unit. Runs perfectly. You can't get one anywhere else. Nobody sells an RO to run with these units. That's why I put my own together. And it's all there again, top of the line stuff. Double coconut carbon block, CSM membrane, mineral filter back in it, booster pumps, electric solenoids, none of cheap ass garbage. And then what I do so why I sell those is because I do R&D projects. Now, I can't really show you underneath the towel because that's top secret, but this is my R&D project I have going on right now, which has to do with removing chemicals from water without having to use carbon block, by only using electrochemistry, using oxidation and reduction in combination in order to solve the problem. So I'll be getting into that in other videos. And so what I'll do is I'm just going to go through on different videos. We'll do a consumable water, we'll do a sanitizer, we'll do different ranges in sanitation, we'll show water treatment, we'll show chemical elimination. Once I get the certifications on the chemical elimination, I'll make videos about chemical elimination. Otherwise, I'm just telling you what I think, not what I know. Even though I know what I think. But I got all sorts of other stuff. You know, I got nice units in the back and stuff. So it'll be very interesting if you're into electrochemistry, because most people don't get exposed to none of this stuff. I don't know where else you're going to get it from other than me. Nobody has the complete set of systems like I have for doing the things that I do. You have to go to Japan. You have to go back to ID&T Japan and get into their lab. They're the only ones that have more than I do. So anything, and anybody who ever has a question or has a suggestion, they say, this is where I get a lot of my ideas, because people say, hey, Paul, why don't you do this? Hey, Paul, why don't you do that? And then I come up with a new idea to do something for an industry, and sometimes I didn't even know it existed, just like they don't know I exist. So it's all good. So anyway, subscribe to this video series, and I'll try not to make them too boring. You know, but the people who buy these units and the people who buy my products, they're already amazed with this stuff. And so this will give you a better idea of how does it all work. It's not magic, it's mathematics. It's applied energy to water. People just don't get it. That blows their minds. How do you put energy into water? That sounds silly. That sounds like a gimmick. How do you do it? What do you think your car battery is? It's your alternator applying energy into an aqueous solution. This one just happens to be super high acidic so that it can hold more power and run your electrical system. But the difference between that is that's storing up a total charge. That's a different variation of electrochemistry, and that is a single polarity electrochemistry. So you can maximize the power in there in the right environment, which is the sulfuric acid, right? What I do is a little different. We don't maximize the power into a total volume. We isolate the power into a single ion, and that ion is dissolved into a single molecule of water, which insulates it from each and every other ion. So then you can put the single charge on everything, and now that's how you create energy in water. We'll get into that when we get into creating energy in water. So I'm already getting way too long on this video because it's 7 minutes. So anyway, stay tuned. I hope you find it interesting. I got a lot of information to share.